What is up, Baggies fans, football fans and sports fans? Match day at the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion versus Stoke. Another massive game for us. Obviously dropped into the relegation zone on Wednesday night when Blackburn managed to beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. So now we really are up against it. And it looks like Ramsey has finally started listening to the players and the fans. The 3-back system isn't working. He's switched to a 4-back. He's dropped Hegebo, put DK up front. Gilchrist is playing right back, Stiles at left back. Mo and Malumbi have come in midfield too. The new Villa lads playing, so a much changed team. So let's hope it's a much changed tempo as well. I did say in my pre-match preview, if he goes to a 4-back, I'm predicting a 2-1 win for the Albion. That's what I've gone for. The old man's gone for a 2-1 win as well to the Albion. So let's hope today we get the 3 points on the board. It's going to be a good game. It's a wet one, a windy one. So let's see if the players can deal with it on the pitch. But make sure you stick around to the end of this video to catch my after-match thoughts. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And I'll catch you when we're in the ground for the highlights. Bye-bye. Baggies fans, back from the game, back from a wet, rainy, windy Hawthorns. And I know the joke is, can you do it on a wet, cold, windy day or night in Stoke? Well, it was roles reversed today because it was wet, horrible, miserable. But the football wasn't quite wet and miserable. We did do quite well. Uh, we looked a lot stronger with the back four. Obviously, Ramsey switched that formation. Villa had come straight in to the side. We just looked a lot more comfortable in possession. And obviously Stoke, no offence here, Stoke fans, but obviously you weren't at your best today. It was a pretty poor performance from yourselves. But I know you're missing key players. I just hope that that isn't the style of football you guys play under Robbins. Is it a case of, you slow down the game as much as possible, to try and build your own momentum? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's just because obviously you're missing some key players, but I read on social media again, it was a back-to-back dreadful performance from you guys. So I genuinely hope that that isn't the sort of football you guys play, and you do play a lot better, because I don't think I could sit and watch that for a full season. And, almost we did with Mason and, well, a little bit with Ramsey. We have been watching that very passive football, and you could almost hear it from the Stoke fans that they wanted the ball to go forward, and it was very sideways and backwards. Whereas at least with us, we were trying to get the ball forward quicker and trying to move it as quickly as possible between the lines. I'm gonna start with the three negatives for me. First negative, still don't create enough chances for me. As I said, it was a poor Stoke side and we didn't really create enough. We should be creating a lot better chances against a team like Stoke. Obviously, I know they're well drilled, very hard to beat defensive unit, but we should still be creating more chances than we did. You know, if we go like that and play the Blues, we're not going to create anything against them, and that's the big worry for me. If we try and just be too fancy with the ball instead of just getting it into the box, we're really trying to play intricate football. There's no need for it sometimes. Just get it into the box. The second one for me is Mad just shouldn't put the shirt on again. Whatever happened to him in injury in the off season, whatever's happened to him, he's just lost everything. Mikey Johnson played the ball through to him, and it looked like he was running in tubby custard. He just was not moving at all, as a striker should be moving. And then he tried to kick it into keep it into play, and the ball just like p-rolled. Another opportunity, a ball was played through to him, and it looked like the defender was walking to get in front of him. For me, when that sub was made, we just lost everything going forward, and I don't think he should be being brought on. Obviously, they brought MJ on, but he looked injured, so I'm not going to dig too much into that performance. If he'd been injured and that's the issue, and fair enough, don't bring him on. I don't see the point. We should have just kept Wallace on. And the third disappointment for me, and it's not really a disappointment, it's more the kid learning his game. And the young lad on loan from Villa, obviously, had a great game, but he's not a left winger, you can tell. He just kept drifting into the middle of the park and almost wanted to play in Price's role. And you could see Styles would get the ball on the left, look up to find where his winger was, and we got no winger because he was still in the middle of the park trying to, receive the ball. And that's really my three negatives from today. I think we just, once we kind of tweak a little bit, I think we'll be safe. I genuinely do. Keeping this back four system, getting points on the board. Obviously, Blackburn lost, Leicester lost. We've got Blues next game, so that'll be a big test for us. But I do think this back four system with the two midfielders in front of him was a lot better for us, and we looked a lot structurally, sounder, should we say. Now on to the positives, because there was a fair few positives from the game. Wallace looked really good out on the right. He just lost his legs a little bit. That you can tell. And the ball was played over to him a couple of times, you just think he needs that extra yard of pace, and you just didn't quite have it. The young lad on loan from Villa looked incredible on the ball. Somebody that we had been missing in that number 10 role. He was trying to, take two or three players on and then find a pass, and almost scored with a deflected opportunity, which the keeper made a fantastic save for, and caused Stoke some real problems when he got the ball, because they didn't know whether to get tight to him or sit off of him. And when they did get tight to him, they ended up fouling him, or we ended up breaking away. So yeah, he was a positive for me. Mepham and Phillips looked solid at the back today. Obviously, not really up against a big physical striker, but again, did well, communicated well, played the ball round between themselves, got the ball forward. And Mepham putting some balls over the top looked really good. And they almost looked back to their best selves again. Styles at left back did a great job. Right up until the end, when he obviously got nutmegged and nearly cost us. But I think he had a great game as well. O'Leary didn't really have to do much, made that save, but apart from that, didn't really have to do too much. Mo and Malumbi looked good in midfield. I'm not going to say great because I don't think the mobility is there for us in midfield, and chance creation coming from midfield is there. But yeah, Wallace looked great. Obviously, the young lad on Villa looked fantastic. Apart from he just wanted to keep coming inside. Price looked back to his best, and I don't know if he's been given a free role more and just told, play beyond the striker, but pick up and receive it in different areas. Obviously, I know the fans booed him before the game, and I know he kicked off at Fratton Park. But for me, give a player the support from the first whistle. If you've got grievances with a player, leave it till after, leave it to social media, but don't boo a player before the game kicks off. We're supposed to be backing him. I know what he did at Fratton Park was wrong, and I'm not going to defend him for that. Kicking off with the fans, it's not right, it's not on. He's getting paid 20, 30K a week to put a performance in, and he just didn't. But if he's been picked and played, don't boo him, get behind him. And if he makes a mistake, you get behind him and you G the lads up. And I think that the Hawthorns today was probably the loudest and best I've seen it in a long, long time. And, when I say loudest, not in a negative way, the team were feeding off us and we were feeding off the team, and it kind of went in harmony, and it's something that hasn't happened in a long, long time. So that was great to see. DK for me didn't quite do enough. Been given an opportunity to start. You'd think he'd want to do a bit more, but he just obviously match fitness and match sharpness are going to be coming into it, and you could see towards the end before he come off he was tiring a little bit, but you'd think he'd grab an opportunity like that and try and create something, try and force his way through to score a goal, but he just looked a little bit void of confidence, should we say. The triple changes for me killed our momentum. MJ still looked injured, as I say. Madger looks like he was running in Tubby Custard, and Heggybo just looked off it as well today, which is unlike him. He's usually someone we can rely on to try and get us up the pitch, but he just looked off of it as well. So, I think the subs killed the game a little bit for me from what we were doing, but I can understand why that to remain. We've got Blues coming up, so we've got to try and keep some players fresh and fit. Hopefully, this lad from Crystal Palace can almost play that left wing role for us, and then I'd almost be tempted to drop Price and play the Villa lad in the 10 role and just see how he gets on. So, yeah, I think overall, a good performance, a solid foundation that we can build on. Ramsey swallowed his pride, moved us to a back four, played a system we're comfortable playing, and we ground out a result against a very tough Stoke side who, for all their injury prones, are still well drilled. They're still a big unit, and they're still, can still hurt you when they want to. They had some real good players on the pitch. Sorba Thomas had a great opportunity. As I said, the chance at the end they had to almost score as well, which you saw in the match highlights. So I think it's a good point. We're out the relegation zone. It's something to build on. Obviously, Blues is going to be a completely different animal at St Andrews. They are going to be pushing us. They're going to punish us. But I do think it's a solid foundation for us to build on. Obviously, we've got the FA Cup the weekend, so I think we'll rotate some youngsters in. But this gives us a solid platform to build on now to try and stay up and try and survive. Leicester getting that points deduction was massive. Blackburn losing. I can't believe Oxford drew against Coventry, so that gave them a little bit of a point. So it is still really tight down there, but we just need to focus on ourselves. And from my opinion, this is a system now. Tweak a little bit of where the players are playing, and let's see what happens. Because realistically, it can only get better from where it's been. There is no more rock bottom. The Norwich, the Pompey game, there is no more rock bottom below that. So we've got to start building now. But yeah, Stoke fans, let me know your thoughts on the game. Obviously, I know social media, you guys weren't happy. Albion fans, were you happy with today's performance? Is there something else you wanted to see, something more you wanted to see from the team? I will be back on Monday for the match preview of Blues, so I'm looking forward to that. But let me know your thoughts on today's game in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, up the Albion. Bye-bye.